Plaza Hotel. Thursday night. Finance gala. Wendy Hayes. Black woman. Elegant dress. Standing beside her husband Gregory. Bar area. Someone mentions Federal Reserve policy. She speaks. Actually, the yield curve... Gregory grabs her arm. Honey, stop. I was just... That's stupid. Loud. You're wrong. Eyes turn. Phones lift. Recording. My wife doesn't work in finance. Laughs. She doesn't understand this. Silence. Then snickers. Whispers. Did she really just... Embarrassing. No one helps. No one speaks up. Gregory turns back to the men, dismissive. Done with her. 12 hours later, he'll beg forgiveness. The black wife he called stupid, she'll end everything he has. 8 years ago, Wendy Anderson met Gregory Hayes at an industry conference in Miami. She was a rising portfolio manager. He was CEO of Hayes Capital Group, a legitimate billionaire with $1.4 billion in verified net worth. He was charming, confident, pursued her relentlessly. They married in 2016, small ceremony, her family present but wary. Jasmine, her sister, pulled her aside before the reception. You sure about this? He talks over you. Wendy laughed it off. That's just how he is in public. But Jasmine was right. The pattern started small. Gregory would correct Wendy at dinner parties. Actually, honey, the market works like this. Even when her analysis was spot on. He'd introduce her to colleagues. This is my wife, Wendy. She's interested in finance. Interested. Like it was a hobby. 2 children came. Emma in 2018, Lucas in 2020. Wendy took 8 weeks maternity leave each time, returned to work, kept climbing, made managing director in 2019. Gregory never asked about the promotion, never asked about her portfolio, never asked about her day. At home, he'd say things, small cuts. You're lucky I handle the finances. You'd be lost. Or, don't try to understand this deal. It's complicated. Or, after she'd suggest something, that's not how it works, trust me. She started keeping her work life separate, used her maiden name professionally, Wendy Anderson. Clients knew her, colleagues respected her. But at home, she was just Gregory's wife, the woman who kept the house running while he built his empire. And he was building. Hayes Capital managed $8.2 billion. His personal wealth grew from inherited real estate and strategic tech investments. Forbes verified, billionaire status, real and substantial. In 2020, they tried marriage counseling. Dr. Helen Ross, 16 sessions. Gregory dismissed every concern. She's being dramatic. She doesn't understand business stress. Maybe if she had a real career, she'd get it. Dr. Ross documented everything, the dismissiveness, the belittling, the pattern. Counseling ended when Gregory refused to continue. Waste of time and money. March 2021, the turning point. They had a fight. Gregory screaming about Wendy not respecting his authority. She'd questioned a financial decision. He'd exploded. That night, alone in the guest room, Wendy made a decision. She opened her own bank accounts. Chase Private Client. Fidelity Investment Accounts. Used her work income, all of it, to build independence. Gregory never noticed. He assumed she dabbled in finance, made decent money, nothing significant. He never asked the numbers. For 3 years, Wendy built her exit, saved $4.8 million, paid the kids' school tuition from her accounts, covered groceries, household expenses, everything. Gregory paid the mortgage on their Park Avenue penthouse, which he owned outright, but assumed he covered everything else. He didn't. He was being supported in daily life by a wife he continuously underestimated. She stayed for the children. At least, that's what she told herself. Emma and Lucas deserved stability. But another part of her, the part that woke at 5 every morning to check the markets, that part was waiting. Waiting for Gregory to make a public mistake she couldn't ignore. A mistake she could use. Tonight's gala. She agreed to attend. Rare. Gregory wanted the power couple appearance. Important clients would be there. She put on the black dress, the pearls, checked her phone, the work phone Gregory never saw. 3 client emails. Portfolio up 8% year to date. Deal closing tomorrow worth $40 million. She slides the phone into her clutch, looks at Gregory adjusting his cufflinks. Ready? He asks. Ready, she says. She is. More than he knows. The Plaza Ballroom is exactly what you'd expect. Old money and new money pretending they're the same. Conversations flow. Deals get made over canapes. Gregory works the room. Wendy follows, playing her part. 9:37 p.m. The bar area. A small circle forms around a senior partner from Blackstone. The topic, Federal Reserve policy, interest rates, recession signals, the kind of discussion that happens at every finance event. The yield curve inversion has me concerned, the Blackstone partner says. We're seeing patterns similar to 2019. Others nod. Someone mentions duration. Another brings up the 2-year, 10-year spread. Wendy listens. She's been analyzing this exact scenario for clients. She knows the data, sees an opening. The inversion pattern we're seeing now is actually different from 2019. Duration suggests Gregory's hand on her arm. Gentle, controlling. Honey, these gentlemen have it covered. The circle shifts. Uncomfortable. But someone tries to be polite. Asks Wendy to continue. She starts again. If you look at the historical data, sweetheart, stop. The room temperature drops. Not literally. But you can hear it in the sudden quiet. Conversations at nearby tables pause. People sense something wrong. A colleague tries to smooth it over. Actually, I'd be interested to hear. Gregory cuts him off, looks at Wendy, says the words that will end his marriage. No, that's stupid. You're wrong. Complete silence. Every person in that circle freezes. Champagne glasses stop mid-air. Someone's breath catches. Wendy looks at her husband. Gregory. But he's not done. He's on a roll now, feeling the need to win, to dominate. My wife doesn't actually work in finance. She doesn't understand these things. 3 phones are recording, standard at these events. People capture networking moments, post them later. But tonight, those phones are capturing something else. Evidence. The exact moment Gregory Hayes calls his wife stupid in front of witnesses. Wendy's face shows nothing. No shock, no tears, no anger, just a small, knowing smile. The smile of someone who's been waiting for exactly this. She says one word. Excuse me? Walks toward the restroom, back straight, head high. The posture of someone who knows her worth even when her husband doesn't. Behind her, Gregory laughs nervously, tries to recover. Sorry about that. She's been stressed lately. Thinks she understands finance because she watches Bloomberg at home. A woman in the circle, someone who knows Wendy professionally, speaks up. That was harsh, Gregory. He waves it off. It's fine, that's just how we are. But his hand shakes when he picks up his drink, trembles slightly when he signs the bar tab, the stress showing, the cracks in his performance. In the restroom, Wendy stands at the marble sink, breathes deeply, takes out her phone, the work phone, and texts her sister. He did it, said the word, in public. I have witnesses. Jasmine's response comes fast. Are you okay? Wendy types back. I'm perfect. I'm free. She looks at herself in the mirror, 36 years old. Managing director, Harvard MBA, mother of two, wife of a man who just called her stupid, former wife. She fixes her lipstick, smooths her dress, walks back into the ballroom, stays another 45 minutes. Dignity, control. She doesn't flee, doesn't cause a scene, just exists in the space with quiet authority. When she leaves, she takes a car service. Gregory stays, drinks with the guys, laughs it off, thinks it's over. It's not over. It's just beginning. That night, Gregory comes home late, assumes everything's fine. Wendy's in the guest room with the kids, door locked. She's not sleeping. She's on her laptop, composing an email to attorney Linda Bennett. Subject line, divorce consultation, urgent. By 7 a.m., the video is on Twitter. Wendy wakes at 6:30 to 47 text messages. She knows before checking what they're about. The video. Someone posted it overnight. Anonymous account. The caption, Billionaire tells wife, that's stupid at finance gala. She walked away with more dignity than he'll ever have. Views, 4.2 million. And climbing. The hashtags are already trending. At toxic husband at number 2 nationally, #stupid wife at number 5, women reclaiming it sarcastically. Calling myself stupid so my husband doesn't have to. The comments section is brutal. Did this man just call his wife stupid in public? The way she kept composure, queen behavior. I hope she divorces him and takes everything. Men who call their wives stupid in public. Red flag, red flag, red flag. The audio is crystal clear. No ambiguity. No way to claim it was taken out of context. That's stupid. You're wrong. My wife doesn't actually work in finance. Gregory wakes at 10. Hungover. Checks his phone. 200 notifications. Opens Twitter. Sees his face. Hears his voice. Watches himself insult his wife. He laughs. Actually laughs. Texts Wendy at 10:17. LOL, we're viral. You okay? People are ridiculous. She responds at 10:19. I'm at Jasmine's. He texts back. Come on, don't be dramatic. It was a joke. No response. He doesn't understand. Genuinely doesn't understand. This is just people being sensitive. Cancel culture. Twitter outrage. It'll blow over by Monday. His PR team calls at 11. Emergency meeting. Sir, this is escalating. We strongly recommend a brief apology. Joint statement with your wife showing you're on the same page. Gregory refuses. No. I'm not apologizing for having a conversation. People are too sensitive. Sir, the word stupid is trending. So? He makes a decision. CNBC interview. 3 p.m. He'll set the record straight. The interview is a disaster. The anchor, a woman in her 40s, professional and direct. Mr. Hayes, the video shows you calling your wife stupid. What's your response? Gregory leans back, confident. First, that's taken out of context. We were having a financial discussion. You said that's stupid, you're wrong, you don't work in finance. Right. And she doesn't. She's not in finance professionally. I was making a point about, some viewers are calling this verbally abusive. He scoffs, actually scoffs on camera. Verbally abusive? I love my wife. We joke like this. She has a great sense of humor. People are reading way too much into a private moment. She didn't look like she was joking, Mr. Hayes. That's her face when she's thinking. Look, this is ridiculous. Couples tease each other. My wife and I have been married 8 years. We're fine. This is a non-story that people are blowing up because they have nothing better to do. The anchor tries one more time. Do you regret your words? No. I said what I said. People need thicker skin. He never apologizes, never acknowledges wrong, never shows a single moment of remorse. The clip circulates within minutes. He's doubling down. No apology, no accountability. She deserves so much better. That's her face when she's thinking. This man is a walking red flag. A new hashtag emerges. #I stand with stupid wife. Women across Twitter, across platforms, reclaim the insult. Post selfies. Stupid wife who has a PhD. Stupid wife who runs a Fortune 500 company. Stupid wife who speaks 4 languages. The solidarity is swift and fierce. By 6 p.m., the story has been covered by Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Finance executive's public insult of wife goes viral. The stupid wife who wasn't. A modern marriage unravels online. Gregory comes home expecting Wendy. The apartment is empty, eerily quiet. No kids' voices, no Wendy moving in the kitchen. A text arrives. The kids and I are staying with Jasmine. I'll let you know when we're ready to talk. He stands in the empty living room, confused, frustrated. Why is she making such a big deal out of this? It was one comment, one moment. People are too sensitive. He pours a drink, opens his laptop, Googles himself. 20 million results. His name next to stupid wife. His face on every major news site. Hayes Capital, his company, issues a statement. Weak. Generic. This is a personal matter between spouses and does not reflect company values. The comments on their social media. Fire him. Boycott Hayes Capital. How can we trust a man who disrespects his own wife to manage our money? Gregory's phone rings. His mother. He doesn't answer. His brother. Doesn't answer. His board chair. That one he answers. Gregory, we need to talk about damage control. It's fine, Martin. It'll blow over. The clients are nervous. They'll get over it. Gregory. A pause. Your wife hasn't been identified publicly. Maybe keep it that way. Let this die down. She's not going to make a statement. She knows better. Martin Cross hangs up without responding. What Gregory doesn't know. Sarah Collins, investigative journalist at Bloomberg, just got off the phone with Wendy. They went to college together. Lost touch. Reconnected tonight. Sarah asked one question. Can I help? Wendy's answer. Actually, yes. Day 2. Friday morning, 9 a.m. Bloomberg publishes. The headline runs across every financial terminal in Manhattan. The wife Gregory Hayes called stupid manages $4.8 billion and earns triple his annual income. Sarah Collins doesn't bury the lead. First paragraph. Wendy Hayes, the woman seen in a viral video being dismissed by her husband at a private equity gala, is managing director at Evergreen Capital Management. She oversees a portfolio worth $4.8 billion. While her husband Gregory Hayes is indeed a billionaire with substantial inherited wealth, Wendy's annual compensation far exceeds his. The article continues. Methodical, factual, devastating. Wendy Anderson, her professional name, Harvard MBA, class of 2009, 15 years in finance. Joined Evergreen Capital in 2014. Made managing director in 2019. Portfolio performance, 11% above market average over 5 years. Client retention rate, 97%. Industry awards, 3, including Goldman Sachs Rising Star in asset management. Her compensation, pulled from legally filed documents, $2.4 million in 2023. Salary plus performance bonus. Gregory Hayes' compensation from SEC filings Hayes Capital must make public. $780,000 annual salary as CEO. Stock dividends, variable. The math is simple. Brutal. Wendy earns 3.08 times what Gregory earns annually. She manages $4.8 billion. His firm manages $8.2 billion. But he's CEO with a management team. She's hands-on portfolio manager, and he called her stupid. The story quotes anonymous industry sources, people who've worked with Wendy. She's one of the sharpest minds in fixed income. Clients request her specifically. Her analysis is always ahead of the curve. One detail Sarah includes: Wendy uses her maiden name professionally, has for years. Gregory, it seems, never attended her work events, never asked about her title, never knew. A sidebar notes, Mr. Hayes's billionaire status, while legitimate, inherited real estate portfolio valued at $1.4 billion, does not translate to high annual income. His wealth is primarily in illiquid assets. Mrs. Hayes, meanwhile, earns multi-million-dollar annual compensation through performance-based portfolio management. The Bloomberg terminal screens across Manhattan light up with the story. Trading floors, corner offices, conference rooms. Everyone reads it simultaneously. Twitter explodes. Different tone now. Not pity. Vindication. Billionaire called his wife stupid. She earns 3x more than him. Net worth versus earning power. She works. He inherited. She doesn't work in finance. She is finance. Imagine calling your wife stupid when she out-earns you 3-1. The memes start. Screenshots of Gregory's CNBC interview with Wendy's credentials overlaid. My wife doesn't work in finance. Next to Managing Director, 4.8B AUM, 2.4M annual income. The juxtaposition is damning. Evergreen Capital issues a statement. Brief, professional, perfect. Ms. Hayes is a valued leader at our firm. Her expertise and performance speak for themselves. We support her fully. No mention of the incident. No need. The numbers say everything. Gregory's phone explodes. Again. But different calls now. Not media. Clients. Gregory, is it true your wife out-earns you? Why didn't we know about this? You called someone making $2.4 million stupid? Hayes Capital loses 3 clients by noon. $80 million in assets. Gone. The board calls an emergency meeting for Monday. Gregory, alone in his office, reads the Bloomberg piece 5 times, sees his wife's credentials laid out like evidence at trial. Managing Director, Harvard MBA, $4.8 billion, $2.4 million annual compensation, 3 times his salary. He didn't know. Genuinely didn't know. She never told him. Except she did. Years ago. He didn't listen. Didn't ask. Didn't care. His assistant knocks. Sir, the Wall Street Journal wants comment. No comment. Forbes? No comment. Your wife's attorney called, Linda Bennett from Bennett and Associates. Gregory looks up. My wife has an attorney? Apparently. For several days now. His world tilts. Slightly. Not collapse. Not yet. Just the first tremor before the earthquake. At Jasmine's apartment in Brooklyn, Wendy sits with her sister. Coffee. Morning light. Her phone face down on the table. Emma, 6 years old, asks, Mommy, why is everyone talking about you? Wendy pulls her daughter close. Because sometimes people need to know the truth, baby. What truth? That you should never let anyone make you feel small. Sarah Collins doesn't stop at one article. She keeps digging. Over the next 4 days, Friday through Monday, she builds a case. Not a legal case, a public one. The kind that matters in the court of reputation. Day 3, Saturday. Sarah makes calls. Former Hayes Capital employees. HR records obtained through anonymous sources. Marriage counselors. Dr. Helen Ross agrees to speak on background after obtaining legal clearance. The pattern starts to show. Text messages. 200 of them. Wendy provides access to her phone. Screenshots backed up, time-stamped, authenticated. 8 years of marriage in digital form. 2017, early in the marriage. You're lucky I married you. Don't act stupid. 2019, after Wendy's promotion. So you have a fancy title. Don't let it go to your head. 2020, during counseling. That's a stupid question, Wendy. Stop embarrassing yourself. 2021, during the fight that changed everything. Don't be stupid. I know what's best for us. My family built wealth. I understand money. You just work for it. The irony, his inherited wealth sits passively. Her earned income funds their daily life. 2022. You don't understand business. Just trust me. 2023. After she questioned a financial decision. You should be grateful. Most men wouldn't put up with your attitude. 2024, the week before the gala. Wear the black dress tonight. And don't talk business. Just smile and look pretty. The texts tell a story. Coercive control, financial manipulation attempts, systematic belittling. Sarah cross-references dates with other evidence. Dr. Helen Ross, the marriage counselor, speaks carefully. She can't reveal privileged information, but she can speak generally about patterns she sees. When one spouse consistently dismisses the other's professional accomplishments, questions their intelligence, and attempts to control their financial autonomy, that's not marital stress. That's psychological abuse. Sarah asks, "You counseled the Hayes couple?" I can't confirm specific clients, but I can say that cases where one spouse uses phrases like, "You're not smart enough," or "You wouldn't understand" repeatedly, those patterns rarely improve without the aggressor acknowledging the behavior. And if they don't acknowledge it, the relationship becomes unsafe, emotionally, sometimes financially. The counseling notes themselves surface through legal channels. Wendy, working with attorney Bennett, obtains her own records, 16 sessions, every session documented. Gregory's dismissiveness, his refusal to validate Wendy's concerns, his insistence that she was being dramatic. Session 12, Dr. Ross wrote, Mr. Hayes walked out when confronted about his pattern of interrupting and correcting his wife. States counseling is waste of money. Mrs. Hayes visibly distressed, but maintained composure. Session 16, final. Mr. Hayes refused to return. Mrs. Hayes came alone, discussed safety planning and financial independence strategies. That was 2020, 3 years before the gala. Wendy had been planning her exit for 3 years. The financial records tell another story. Wendy authorizes limited disclosure. Strategic. Devastating. March 2021. New account opened at Chase Private Client. Wendy Hayes Anderson. Initial deposit, $180,000. Grew to $4.8 million by March 2024. Fidelity Investment Account. Opened same month. Managed personally. Current value, $1.8 million. Additional retirement accounts. Emergency funds. All separate. All in her name only. The paper trail shows something else. Payments out. Kids' tuition at Trinity School, $60,000 annually, paid from Wendy's account. Groceries, utilities, household expenses, car payments, even Gregory's gym membership. She was supporting the daily operations of the family. For years. While he owned the penthouse but assumed his ownership meant he was providing everything. He wasn't. An email surfaces, February 2024, 1 month before the gala, from Gregory to his accountant, Marcus Wilson. Subject, Household Finances Review. Body. Marcus, can you track my wife's spending? I think she's hiding purchases. Need full accounting of where money's going. Marcus replies, Gregory, I don't have access to her accounts. Per the prenup amendment you signed in 2021, her finances are separate. Gregory's response, What amendment? I don't remember signing anything. Marcus, March 2021. You signed at the attorney's office, after the mediation session. Gregory never responded to that email. The prenup amendment surfaces next. Wendy's attorney provides it. Gregory's signature. Date, March 15th, 2021. The document establishes complete financial separation. Separate accounts, separate debts, separate assets. In case of divorce, each keeps their own. Gregory signed it. Drunk, according to the attorney's notes. After a particularly bad counseling session. Didn't read it. Didn't care. Thought it was standard paperwork. That signature protects Wendy's $4.8 million now. Hayes. Capital employees start talking. Anonymously at first. Then on record. Daniel Foster, former junior analyst, publishes a Medium post Sunday night. I worked at Hayes Capital for 18 months. I left in 2022, not because of the long hours or the pressure, because of Gregory Hayes. He details his experience, the belittling, the public mockery, the day Gregory called him too emotional for the trading desk after Daniel questioned a risky position. He told me I was being stupid, that I should be grateful for the opportunity, that people like me don't usually make it in finance. People like him. Daniel is gay, Filipino-American, first-generation college graduate. When I saw the video of him calling his wife stupid, I recognized that tone, that look. I've been on the receiving end. I know what it feels like. And I'm done being silent. Within 48 hours of Daniel's post, 5 more people come forward. Lisa Martinez, former VP at Hayes Capital, left in 2023. He told me I'd never make partner because I wasn't tough enough. I was tougher than him. I just wasn't cruel. Ramon Garcia, analyst, left in 2022. He mocked my accent, made me repeat words for his entertainment, called it communication coaching. Jennifer Okonkwo, client services. I was in a meeting with a high net worth client, female, married. She asked questions about the portfolio strategy. Gregory looked at me and said, "Your husband makes the investment decisions, right?" The client walked, pulled $15 million. 2 more employees. Similar stories. Pattern recognition. Belittling. Dismissiveness. Gendered language. Racial undertones. But the most damaging story comes from an unexpected source. Victor Hayes, Gregory's nephew, son of board member Martin Cross, who remarried and his son took his stepfather's name. Victor, 28, junior analyst at different firm, posts on LinkedIn Monday morning. My uncle called his wife stupid at a public event. I wasn't surprised. He said worse to me, called me soft for supporting diversity initiatives, questioned whether I belonged at the company despite my MBA from Wharton. Blood doesn't excuse abuse. Position doesn't grant permission to demean. I stand with Wendy Hayes and everyone else he's hurt. The post goes viral. 15,000 shares. Because it's not just employees now, it's family. Martin Cross, board member, can't defend his brother-in-law without defending the abuse of his own son. The silence from Hayes Capital's board is deafening. If you've ever been told you're too sensitive when someone hurts you, drop a comment. You're not alone. Wendy's not alone. And the best part? It's just beginning. Day 8, Tuesday. Gregory fights back. His attorneys, white shoe firm, Madison Avenue, $500 an hour, send letters, lots of letters, to Bloomberg, to Wendy, to anyone who'll listen. The letter to Bloomberg threatens defamation, claims Sarah Collins' reporting relies on illegally obtained private documents and biased sources with axes to grind, and demands retraction, threatens suit. Bloomberg's response, through their legal team, every fact in our reporting is documented and verified. We welcome the opportunity to defend our journalism in court. The letter to Wendy, through Attorney Bennett, is different, nastier, more personal. Your client has violated marital privacy by sharing confidential communications. Her actions constitute emotional abuse and parental alienation. Mr. Hayes demands immediate cessation of all public statements and return of minor children to the marital home. Bennett reads it to Wendy over speakerphone. Wendy, sitting in Jasmine's kitchen, listens without interruption. "He's trying to scare you," Bennett says. "I know." "Are you scared?" "No." Because Wendy knows something Gregory doesn't. Everything she released, the texts, the financial records, the counseling notes, all legally obtained, all hers to share. The prenup he signed, drunk in 2021, includes a clause waiving confidentiality in case of divorce proceedings. Gregory's attorneys don't know about the prenup yet, but they're about to. Gregory tries another strategy: media spin. Plants stories through friendly outlets. Sources close to Hayes say the marriage has been troubled for years. Both parties share responsibility. Mrs. Hayes's career ambitions created tension. The narrative: ambitious wife, wealthy but stressed husband, modern marriage problems. It doesn't work. One article tries the mental health angle. Friends of Gregory Hayes express concern about his wife's recent behavior, suggesting professional help might be beneficial. Weaponizing mental health. Classic gaslight tactic. Twitter buries them. He's now saying she's crazy? This man is a textbook abuser. By Wednesday, Gregory's PR team quits. Can't control the narrative, can't contain the damage. Days 9 through 11. Gregory tries something more direct. Access. Bank logs show 4 attempts: March 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. Gregory Hayes tries logging into accounts he believes are joint. Chase, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley, all denied. Access not authorized. He calls the banks directly. "I'm her husband. I need access to our accounts." Chase: "Sir, these are individual accounts. Account holder must grant access." "I'm her husband. That gives me rights." "Not to these accounts, sir." He doesn't understand. Doesn't remember signing the prenup amendment. Doesn't realize he gave away his leverage 3 years ago. Thursday, day 12. Gregory shows up at Jasmine's apartment, 10 a.m., unannounced, pounds on the door. Jasmine checks the security camera, texts Wendy, who's at work. "He's here," Wendy calls her sister. "Don't open it." Jasmine speaks through the door. "Gregory, leave, now. I want to see my kids. Through the attorneys, you know the terms. I'm their father." "Then act like it. Call Attorney Bennett. Schedule supervised visitation." He stands in the hallway for 10 minutes. Neighbors watching. Building security called. He leaves before they arrive. But not before screaming, "You're turning my wife against me. This is parental alienation." The security camera catches everything. Jasmine sends the footage to Attorney Bennett. More evidence. Hayes Capital Board holds emergency meeting. Thursday afternoon. Conference room, 34th floor. 7 board members. Gregory summoned. The leaked audio, Daniel Foster still has building access, records from outside the room, reveals everything. Board Chair Martin Cross. "Gregory, the clients are spooked. We've lost $150 million in redemptions this week." Gregory: "It's a temporary reaction." CFO Richard Barnes: "This isn't about company finances, it's about you, your judgment, your character." Gregory: "My personal life doesn't affect..." Martin: "It does when you publicly humiliate your wife, who happens to be a highly respected managing director. It does when employees come forward with similar stories. It does when your nephew posts about your behavior on LinkedIn." Silence on the tape. Richard: "We're not worried about Hayes Capital's balance sheet. We're worried about yours, your reputation, your ability to lead." More silence. Martin: "We're strongly advising you retain separate personal counsel from company counsel. What happens next is your problem, not Hayes Capital's." Gregory: "You're abandoning me?" Martin: "We're protecting the firm. You should have thought about that before calling your wife stupid on camera." Gregory stands, walks out, slams the door. On the recording after he leaves, Richard speaks quietly. We need to discuss succession planning. Martin. Already drafted. Gregory's stepping down voluntarily or we vote him out. Board meeting next month. Does he know? He will. Wendy sits in Jasmine's living room. Late Thursday night. Kids asleep. Laptop open. Attorney Bennett's email on screen. Subject. Final decision needed. Settlement versus divorce. Gregory's latest offer, delivered that afternoon. $1 million. Lump sum. Full custody to him. Non-disclosure agreement. Public statement from Wendy. Our marital difficulties were mutual. I regret the public nature of our private struggles. In exchange, Gregory drops all claims. No child support demands. Clean split. Wendy reads it 3 times. $1 million. Tax-free. Walk away. Move on. Jasmine sits beside her. What are you thinking? I'm thinking about Emma. Emma. 6 years old, smart, observant. Yesterday she asked, Mommy, why did Daddy call you stupid on TV? Wendy had knelt down, eye level. Sometimes people say hurtful things when they feel small inside, baby. But you're not stupid. You're the smartest person I know. Thank you, sweetheart. Is that why we're at Aunt Jasmine's? Because Daddy feels small? 6 years old. Already connecting the dots. Now, Wendy stares at the settlement offer. Thinks about what acceptance means. Take the money. Sign the NDA. Teach Emma that silence has a price. That dignity can be bought. That when someone hurts you publicly, privately, repeatedly, you smile and call it mutual. I can't, Wendy says. Jasmine nods. I know. He wants me to say it was mutual, that I'm partly responsible for him calling me stupid in front of 200 people. What do you want? Wendy closes the laptop. I want Emma to know that respect isn't negotiable. That you don't stay silent to keep peace. That financial independence means freedom to choose yourself. Even if it's harder? Especially then. Lucas wanders in, 4 years old, clutching his stuffed dinosaur. Mommy can't sleep. Wendy pulls him onto her lap. He curls against her chest. Within minutes, breathing slows, sleep. She looks at her son, thinks about the man she married, the man she thought he was. Charming, successful, confident. When did confidence become control? When did love become leverage? Or was it always there? The interruptions at dinner parties, the corrections, the dismissals. Did she ignore the signs because she wanted marriage to work? Because she had children? Because divorce felt like failure? She thinks about Dr. Ross, the counselor. Their final session. Wendy alone. Gregory having quit. Dr. Ross had said, "You can't change him. You can only decide what you'll accept." 3 years ago. Wendy deciding nothing. She'll accept nothing less than respect. But she'd needed time, needed financial independence, needed evidence. Now she has all 3. Her phone buzzes. Text from Sarah Collins. Board sources say Gregory's being pushed out. Story dropping tomorrow. You'll want to see it. Wendy doesn't respond, just holds her sleeping son. Emma appears in the doorway, awake. Mommy? Are you crying? Is she? Wendy touches her face. Wet. Yes. Come here, baby. Emma climbs onto the couch. Wendy holds both children now. Lucas sleeping. Emma watching her mother's face. Are we going to be okay? Emma asks. Yes. Promise? Promise. Because you're smart? Wendy laughs, soft, real. Because we're strong, all 3 of us. Emma considers this. Daddy said you're not smart. I know. But you are. You're really, really smart. Thank you, Emma. So Daddy was wrong? Wendy looks at her daughter. 6 years old, learning what truth means, what accountability looks like, what it costs to stand up. Yes, baby. Daddy was wrong. Emma nods, satisfied. That's what I thought. If you've ever stayed for the kids but wondered if leaving would teach them more, this is your permission. Sometimes the bravest thing we do is show our children that we matter too. Stay with us. Friday morning, day 14. Wendy wakes to a text from Attorney Bennett. Check Bloomberg. You'll want to be sitting down. She makes coffee, opens her laptop. Jasmine peers over her shoulder. The headline, Billionaire Gregory Hayes forced out as CEO, board cites pattern of behavior inconsistent with company values. Sarah Collins has been busy. The article is forensic, methodical, based on leaked board meeting minutes and employee testimonies. Hayes Capital Group Board voted Wednesday night, 7-1. Gregory Hayes removed as CEO effective immediately. Not for financial reasons. The company remains profitable with $8.2 billion AUM. For character reasons. The official statement, Mr. Hayes' recent public behavior, combined with credible employee testimonies regarding workplace conduct, has created an untenable situation. The board has lost confidence in his ability to lead. Translation. We can't have a CEO who publicly calls his high-achieving wife stupid and has a documented pattern of belittling employees. Gregory Hayes, billionaire. Inherited real estate portfolio worth $1.4 billion. Annual CEO salary, $780,000. Removed from the company bearing his family name. Meanwhile, Wendy Hayes, self-made wealth. Annual compensation, $2.4 million. Just received a job offer from BlackRock. Managing director position. Compensation package, $3.8 million annually. The article continues. The irony is stark. Mr. Hayes called his wife stupid and claimed she doesn't work in finance while she was out earning him 3-1. Now he's jobless while she's being courted by the world's largest asset manager. Social media ignites. Billionaire loses job for calling wife stupid. She earns 3x more. She keeps her job. He loses his. Karma. Net worth doesn't equal earning power. She works. He inherited. Now he's unemployed. His $1. $4 billion can't buy back his reputation. The hashtag billionaire consequences trends. The commentary is brutal, but accurate. Having $1 billion doesn't make you immune to consequences for being abusive. Old money, new problems, should have treated his wife with respect. Inherited wealth, inherited arrogance, well-deserved unemployment. But something else happens. Something more important. Other women start talking. Corporate wives, finance executives, women who've hidden their success to protect fragile male egos. LinkedIn fills with posts, anonymous at first. I'm a finance executive. My husband introduces me as his wife at events. Never mentions I'm CFO of a Fortune 500 company. Wendy Hayes made me realize I don't have to accept that. My husband inherited his wealth. I built mine. He still talks down to me. Reading about Wendy's separate accounts gave me the courage to see a lawyer. My husband called me stupid last week in front of our kids. I thought I was overreacting. I'm not. Thank you, Wendy. The posts multiply. Hundreds, then thousands. Women sharing stories, finding solidarity, building courage. Jasmine's phone buzzes. She posts resources, links to financial independence guides, domestic violence hotlines, divorce attorneys specializing in high net worth cases. The post is shared 500,000 times. Messages flood in. Thank you. I needed this. I'm finally leaving. Wendy reads them quietly, tears streaming. She didn't want to be a symbol, just wanted her dignity. but sometimes personal justice becomes collective courage. Day 21. 3 weeks since the gala. The full picture emerges. Sarah Collins publishes her final investigative piece, the one that ties everything together. The billionaire who couldn't recognize success, how inherited wealth blinded Gregory Hayes to his wife's achievements. The article is comprehensive. A psychological profile backed by expert analysis. Dr. Marcus Chen, organizational psychologist at Yale, provides commentary. When someone's wealth is inherited rather than earned, they often struggle to recognize achievement in others. They conflate net worth with intelligence. Mr. Hayes' $1.4 billion convinced him he understood finance better than his wife, despite her demonstrably superior earning power and active market performance. The financial breakdown Sarah provides is devastating. Gregory Hayes. Net worth, $1.4 billion, inherited real estate, appreciate over 30 years. Annual income as CEO, $780,000. Stock performance under his leadership, flat, matching market average. Active involvement, delegated to management team. Contribution, figurehead, Wendy Hayes. Net worth, $6.9 million, self-built over 15 years. Annual income, $2.4 million, 2023. Offered $3.8 million, 2024. Portfolio performance, plus 11% above market average, 5-year. Active involvement, direct portfolio management. Contribution, active value creation. The comparison. She creates wealth. He sits on inherited wealth. But Sarah's deepest investigation reveals something more troubling. Email chains obtained through discovery. Gregory to his personal attorney, Mark Stevens. March 2021, right around the prenup amendment signing. Mark, the counselor keeps saying I need to acknowledge Wendy's career. Why? I have $1 billion. Her salary is pocket change. I'm letting her work because it makes her happy. Isn't that enough? Mark's response. Gregory, her career is independent of your wealth. You should respect... Gregory. Respect what? She wouldn't have her job without the connections my name provided. She should be grateful. Except Wendy never used his connections. Built her career on her maiden name. At firms where Hayes Capital wasn't even a client. Another email. November 2023, 4 months before the gala. Gregory to Richard Barnes, CFO. Why are we paying Lisa Martinez $190K? That's too much for her role. Richard. That's market rate for her experience and... Gregory. Market rate according to what? I didn't make my billion by overpaying people. Richard. You didn't make your billion. You inherited it. And Lisa's salary is appropriate. Email thread ends. The pattern becomes clear. Gregory Hayes believed his inherited wealth made him smarter, more capable, more deserving than people who earned their money, including his wife. Dr. Chen's analysis continues. This is textbook Dunning-Kruger effect combined with wealth insulation. Mr. Hayes was surrounded by yes people who validated his self-perception. His wife, earning triple his salary through actual performance, represented a threat to his constructed identity. The article includes one final piece. Audio from the marriage counseling sessions legally obtained through Wendy's records request. Dr. Ross. Gregory, Wendy has expressed feeling dismissed when discussing her work. Can you acknowledge her feelings? Gregory. I acknowledge that she feels that way. I don't acknowledge that she should. She's being oversensitive. I have $1 billion company. I think I know what I'm talking about. Dr. Ross. Wendy's not questioning your business success. She's asking you to respect hers. Gregory. How can I respect something I had to give her? Silence on the tape. Dr. Ross. I'm sorry. What do you mean by give her? Gregory. The opportunity, the lifestyle, the connections. Without me, she'd be... Wendy's voice, quiet but firm. A Harvard MBA with 15 years of finance experience. That's what I'd be. What I am. with or without you. That session was number 14, 2 before the end, 2 before Wendy started planning her exit. Attorney Bennett calls. Wendy, have you seen the article? Reading it now. Gregory's attorney just called. He wants to settle. Today, no conditions. He'll accept your terms. Why the rush? Because tomorrow the Harvard Business Review publishes a case study on inherited wealth versus earned success. Guess who's the cautionary tale? Wendy closes her laptop. Tell him I'll think about it. She won't accept today. Won't give him the mercy of quick resolution. He made her wait 8 years for respect. He can wait 48 hours for divorce terms. April 15th, Plaza Hotel, same ballroom, different energy. Not a gala this time. Press conference. 89 people in attendance. Journalists, industry colleagues. Some of the original witnesses from that night 5 weeks ago. Daniel Foster, Lisa Martinez, Ramon Garcia. The people Gregory hurt. The people who spoke up. Wendy sits in the front row, Jasmine beside her, Attorney Bennett on her other side, Emma and Lucas at home with a sitter. Some things children don't need to witness. Gregory enters at 3 p.m., flanked by attorneys. He looks different, thinner, gray showing at his temples. Expensive suit, one of the few assets he actually owns. Still wealthy, still a billionaire on paper, but humbled, publicly defeated. He walks to the podium. Microphone. No prepared remarks visible. His attorney insisted he memorize it. Eye contact, sincerity, the performance of accountability. He clears his throat. The room silences. My name is Gregory Hayes. 5 weeks ago, at an event in this room, I called my wife stupid, in front of colleagues, in front of friends, in front of strangers. I told her she didn't understand finance. I dismissed her expertise. I belittled her intelligence. His voice cracks, slightly. Hard to tell if it's genuine. I was wrong. Completely, inexcusably wrong. My wife, Wendy, is a managing director at one of the most respected firms in Manhattan. She manages billions of dollars. She outperforms the market consistently. She is brilliant at her work. She earns 3 times what I earned as CEO. And I never acknowledged that. Never asked about it. Never cared to know. He looks directly at Wendy. She doesn't look away. For 8 years, I made her smaller. I interrupted her, corrected her, dismissed her accomplishments. I told her she wasn't smart enough, that she didn't understand, that she should be grateful. Pause. The truth is, I was grateful. Grateful she stayed as long as she did. I confused my inherited wealth with earned intelligence. I thought my bank account made me smarter. It didn't. It just made me arrogant. Another pause. Longer. I called her stupid because I felt stupid. Because she was building something real, and I was just maintaining what my family gave me. And instead of asking for help, instead of being honest, I tried to make her feel as small as I felt. The room is silent. Absolutely silent. I apologize to Wendy. I apologize to my children who deserve better. I apologize to everyone I've hurt with my behavior. My employees, my colleagues, my family. He looks down, breathes. There's no excuse, no justification. I was cruel. I was wrong. And I'm sorry. He steps back from the podium. Waits. His attorney said there'd be questions, but there are none. No one has anything to ask. The apology sits in the air. Adequate. Not moving. Not transformative. Just adequate. Wendy stands, walks to the podium. Gregory steps aside. Her attorney reads her statement. Wendy doesn't speak herself. Doesn't need to. Bennett's voice carries. Mrs. Hayes accepts this apology for what it is, a necessary step. She filed for divorce March 23rd, Terms have been agreed upon. Primary custody to her. Child support established. This matter is now concluded. Mrs. Hayes asks for privacy as she and her children begin their next chapter. Thank you. 3 minutes total. Both statements. Years of marriage ending in under 200 words. Wendy walks out, doesn't look back. Jasmine follows. Outside, spring air. April in Manhattan. The city moving, indifferent to personal reckonings. How do you feel? Jasmine asks. Wendy thinks. Free. 1 year later, March 2025. Wendy Hayes, Anderson again, legally, arrives at BlackRock headquarters, Monday morning, senior managing director now. Accepted the position 4 months after the divorce finalized. Her office overlooks Central Park, sunlight through floor-to-ceiling windows, portfolio performance, 18% year-to-date. Client acquisitions, 12 new accounts. Total assets under management, $9.8 billion. Annual compensation, $4.2 million. Quadruple what Gregory earned as CEO. Emma is 7, Lucas 5. They adjusted. Therapy helped. Gregory sees them every other weekend. Supervised visits ended after 6 months. He completed the domestic abuse program. Pays his child support, substantial amount, based on his net worth. Shows up on time. He works now as a consultant. Advisory role. Remote work. The billionaire who lost his company. Still wealthy. Still comfortable, but no longer powerful. The story faded. Media moved on. But the ripple effects remain. 3 major finance firms revised their HR policies, created independent reporting systems, mandatory bias training. The Hayes capital effect gets referenced in trade publications. Cautionary tale. Wendy gives occasional talks, women in finance groups. Not about Gregory, about financial independence, separate accounts, exit planning, dignity. Her phone buzzes. Text from unknown number. I left my husband today. Built my own account like you said. Thank you. Wendy doesn't reply. Doesn't need to. Just smiles. Continues her morning. Because the story isn't about revenge. Never was. It's about a woman who built her freedom in silence. Who waited for the right moment. Who proved that dignity isn't negotiable and intelligence can't be dismissed. He was a billionaire who called his wife stupid. She earned triple his salary. She planned for 3 years. She left with her head high. And her daughter learned the most important lesson. Never let anyone make you feel small. Wealth doesn't equal worth. The math doesn't lie. It never did. If this story resonates, share it. Someone needs to hear it. Hit subscribe, because these stories matter. And remember, you don't need permission to know your worth. You just need courage to act on it.